Hello and welcome. So today I have for you 12 fragrances. I talk to you about perfumes all the time, but today I'm going to share with you 12 fragrances that are new to my collection, but they are not all a success. Some of them have come in and taken my heart immediately. A couple of others I'm still on the fence about, and several others, are a strong like, but they have not become necessarily like a deep love. So today I'm going to share with you my thoughts on each fragrance. Of course, I'm going to be providing a detailed review. And as I go along, I'll also tell you how I really feel about the fragrance. Like, is it a love? Is it a like? Is it a kind of a letdown? Or if I'm iffy about it overall? So let's go ahead and jump right in. But before we do so, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi, and I'm your fragrance concierge because I'm totally committed to creating the best fragrance experience for you. I upload videos multiple times a week, and on this channel, we love to talk about all types of fragrances. So if that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in and like a good plan, then please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let's go, fam. All right, so the first fragrance that I want to share with you today is a fragrance from a brand that I just started trying this year. But I have to tell you, every single fragrance that I have tried from this brand has been a success. Not all of them have been a deep love, but they have certainly been a strong like. But this one is definitely a deep love. And this is from Ojar, and this is Halwa Kiss. And here is the gorgeous bottle. Now, the funny thing about this bottle is that it tells you what the fragrance is really about, because this fragrance is completely centered around the note of honey. Now, if you've been with me for a while, you know that I always tell you that honey is not a note that you can get right easily. For some reason, I don't know what is it about honey. Sometimes the honey can pull on my skin and even on others, because I've received that feedback. It can pull like a little bit funky. I don't know why it does that, but it does happen. But in this fragrance, the honey that you're going to get is so realistic and beautiful and pure. It is just incredible. Now, in addition to the honey, you are going to have the note of pistachio. And you're also going to have some dates. So go figure, you have pistachio, you have dates, and you have honey. So of course, immediately you know, oh, and vanilla. So immediately you know that you're going to get quite a yummy scent. The scent here is sweet. It is a bit nutty. It is not sickly sweet, by the way. It is definitely nutty, and it's very, very vanillic. There is a floral presence, but to be honest with you, this fragrance is really not about the florals. This is more about that nuttiness with that vanilla and that honey note that has been done exquisitely. And you have that note of date that is definitely very present, not dominant, but very present. The other thing that I love about this fragrance is that there are different notes, of course, and accords, but none of them are quite dominant in any way throughout the olfactory journey or at the dry down, which to me speaks to an exquisitely done blend. This to me is perfect for the fall and winter season. And I think that it is a fragrance that if you get your nose on it, you are going to be immediately addicted, as I have, because it becomes quite an obsession. I really wish that I had more time to use it and use it and use it, because I really enjoy the novelty of having a honey centric fragrance that, while the honey is not necessarily dominant, it is very present and done so exquisitely beautiful. In addition to that nuttiness and to the vanilla and the dates, you are going to find also a spicy presence. And the one spice that I do pick up on is the saffron. At the dry down, I really can't distinguish what the spices involved are. But in the olfactory journey, at times, I do get a whiff of like saffron, but not anything else. This is a fragrance that I think is suitable for just about the seasons of fall, winter, and spring. I don't think that this is necessarily a summer fragrance, even though that, I think you could get away with wearing it during the summer season. But for me, it is perfection for the fall because it evokes all that yumminess of the fall season. In addition to that, to me, this is a fragrance that is really best suited for just about any age, for any occasion, day or night. You could make it your signature scent. You could bring it to the office. You could take it to a formal event. It is just a very versatile fragrance, just like you know I love them. Anyway, Halwa Kiss for me is a top recommendation and a definite love. Let us know if you've tried Halwa Kiss or any of the Ojar fragrances and how you feel about it. I will leave, of course, a link and a discount code to where you can pick up this incredible fragrance. The next fragrance that I have for you is from a fragrance house that also is quite new to me this year. And you know, I have received several fragrances in PR, and this one is one of them. And it is the last one that I decided to really work on. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I had decided that maybe this one should not be a priority versus all the others like Caden that I've tried and others that I've shared with you, because for me, this would just be another oud and rose fragrance. Well, I was very wrong. This is not your regular oud and rose fragrance. There is such a difference. The rose here is not a freshly bloomed rose. It is a rose that bloomed maybe a couple of days ago. So you are going to get part of that a bit of the sweetness that you get from a rose that has already bloomed. But what really gets me about this fragrance is that the oud here has got to be one of the smoothest and most beautiful oud notes that I've experienced in a fragrance. There is something about Oman luxury fragrances that I just can't even explain, and Oud Aquilaria is not the exception. This is truly an exquisitely done rose and oud fragrance where the rose is definitely in a dominant role, but right there with the oud that is very, very smooth in a fragrance that then becomes kind of like sexy, because I'm telling you, that combination is just stellar. This fragrance to me is quite unisex. It does not lean to the masculine or to the feminine side. It is very much a unisex fragrance. And I think that it does require a certain level of maturity. So I would say it's best suited for the ages of 30 plus. But at that, you can use it for just about any occasion, day or night. You could make it your signature scent. That should tell you everything, because that means that you could wear it for a casual occasion all the way to the most dressiest occasions of all, like a gala or something like that. Because this is a very, very beautiful scent, very smooth, but also it speaks to an elegance and a sophistication and a very distinguished kind of presence. That's what the fragrance does. That's the feel that you get with it. I tell you, I have many rose and oud fragrances in my collection, which is why I was a little skeptic about really trying this one and working with it. But I have to tell you, I am so glad that I did, because this is a totally different take on oud and rose. And when I say take, I'm not saying that it's different as far as the scent you are going to get, that it's a rose and oud combination fragrance, but at that, it is very, very much a smooth rose and oud. Very, very beautifully done and perfect for just about any occasion. The other thing that I love in the style of Oman luxury is the performance of this fragrance, because you are going to get well exceeding the 8-hour mark without having to overspray or respray at all. This is not a fragrance that you should overspray at all, because it may choke you. It's going to give you that full day wear and then some. It does have a very strong projection that exceeds the 2-hour mark, and it does have a moderate sillage that will get you attention. All in all, this is a top recommendation for me and a deep love within my collection. A very, very welcome addition as it comes to rose oud fragrances. Now, if you've been with me for a while, you know that one of my favorite brands is Merchant of Venice. And today I want to share with you Andalusian Soul. Now, Andalusian Soul is a fragrance that has really captured my heart. Is it a deep love? It's not a deep love at this time. I would say that it is a very, very strong like, bordering on love. This is a fragrance that is all about a booziness and a smoky quality on a very, very ambery base. It is a very ambery fragrance that has that booziness and a touch of smokiness to go with it. I really don't pick up on florals. For me, it is all about that ambery quality of the fragrance. At all that, I can't explain it, but I get like a tad of an animalic quality that I don't even know where it comes from. But to me, the scent, and I've tried it several times on skin because I just found it rather interesting that, I did find that bit of an animalic touch to it. But I think that that adds to the beauty of the scent itself. That is not why it's just a strong like for me. It just happens that for me, the scent is a strong like. It's not one that I feel that I have to pull all the time, but it is definitely a very, very beautiful fragrance. This is perfect for just about any age. This is a fragrance that I think is perfect for the fall season, but you could probably get away with wearing it all year, even though it is boozy, because while it's boozy, it's not very boozy. It is also sweet. It has a good bit of vanilla, and you are definitely going to pick up on that ambery quality. It is a fragrance that really does evoke like a sense of coziness, which is why I think it's perfection for the fall season, definitely for the winter, and definitely for the opening of spring. But again, I think you can get away with using it during warm weather. The next fragrance that I want to share with you is one that you have asked me time and time again. Am I going to review it? Did I pick it up? What do I think about it? Can I please just talk about it? Well, today I'm ready to discuss Akro Crush. Now, look at this beautiful bottle. So this is like your typical Akro bottle, but of course in this like blush pink that speaks to like a crush, like having a crush on someone. This was sent to me kindly by the Lucky Scent team, and here's what I have to say. This is a fragrance that really has me on the fence. It was not an immediate love, and it was not an immediate like. As a matter of fact, the first time that I tried it, because I have tried it several times on skin, because I'm really trying to understand the fragrance, because it did not give me what I expected, right? So if I recall correctly, there's like almond here, and the opening of this fragrance really took me by surprise because it gave me like a bitter, plasticky kind of scent. And, first I spray it on paper, and I did try it on paper, and then I sprayed it on skin. And on skin, it gave me something totally different. The opening was kind of like the same, but not as intense as what I picked up on paper. But then after a while, I did start to pick up on a beautiful rose scent that is like covered by that nutty quality of a kind of bitter almond. I think that the game changer here is that almond note, which at least to my nose and on my skin is quite bitter. And it's always bitter all throughout the olfactory journey and throughout the wear of the fragrance. There is quite a bit of vanilla in the fragrance itself also, but the vanilla doesn't play a critical role because the almond in its bitterness really does take over quite a bit. And at the dry down, now I do get a beautiful rose scent that, while being beautiful, still doesn't capture my heart to the point of being a love. It is a fragrance that I like right now, but there are times where I feel a certain kind of way about it. So that's why I said that I'm kind of like on the fence about it. If you are into that bitter almond note that you find like in a Vanilla Sex from Tom Ford, then this may be a fragrance that you enjoy. Personally, I am really not sure that this is going to be a success for me. Is it a total dislike right now? No. But is it a fragrance that I like enough to keep in my collection? Not yet. I do like the way that the rose has been done here because it is a fresh rose. It is not dated and it is not jammy in any kind of way. The problem here is not about the floral presence or the vanilla or the nuttiness itself, that nutty quality to the scent itself. No, it's really about that bitterness that comes specifically from the almond, because I do pick it up clearly. To me, this is suited for the ages of 25 plus. And if you do enjoy the scent, I think that you can make it your signature scent and you can use it for just about any occasion, day or night. It doesn't really have oud, and I really don't pick up on a musk. So it is really a fragrance that you can wear for just about anything. The performance is quite good because it does give me a full day wear with a strong projection during the first 90 minutes, no more than that, and a moderate sillage. I haven't worn it enough out in order to be able to tell you, does it get me compliments? You know, my husband hasn't said anything about it, which tells me that it's not like a deep love for him immediately or an immediate love, because he'll immediately tell me. So that is really how I'm feeling about Akro Crush right now. It is an on the fence kind of scent for me. I'm not sure that it's going to be a love. This next fragrance is what I would consider to be like the perfect fragrance for the fall and winter season. This to me is cool weather all the way. Maybe because I started to test it now during cooler weather, but I just can't imagine pulling this during the summer. So to me, this is truly a fall and winter fragrance, and at that, it is perfection. And I am speaking about ONNO, and this is Mystic Oud. Now, Mystic Oud is an oud to the tune of like a 3 to 4, more 4 than 3, where 5 is the most and 1 is the least. This oud is absolutely beautiful. It is not as smooth as when I shared with you Oud Aquilaria. It's not that kind of smooth oud, no. This is more of a present and dominant oud fragrance. But as the name says it, there's a like sophistication to the oud. There's something different about this oud, and I can't even explain it. I can't really put my finger on it. What I do know is that the fragrance is quite addictive. That scent will just capture you. Now, is this the type of scent that you have to be an oud lover in order to enjoy? Yes, because it is a level 4 oud, and it is a very present oud that is not necessarily balanced by other notes. This is an oud dominant fragrance to my nose, on paper and on my skin. So if you are an oud lover and you want an oud fragrance that really is absolutely exquisite, then you want to try Mystic Oud. This fragrance is also musk based, and the musk is to the tune, I would say, a 2 to 3. It is a smooth musk. It is not animalic because the fragrance is not about the musk. The fragrance is really about that oud. And the fragrance does have a bit of sweetness, but that sweetness, it's almost coming like from a balsamic quality to the scent, because there is a balsamic quality to the scent itself. You're also going to pick up on quite a bit of woodiness within that oud scent, and the scent itself is quite aromatic. It's just a whole effect, but all of that around that very, very unique but very present kind of oud. So if you like the scent that you get from a very like sophisticated and intellectual feel kind of oud-centric fragrance, then this is a fragrance that you definitely want to get your nose on, because this is truly stellar. I can't speak highly enough. If you are looking for an oud-centric fragrance that is not balancing that note of oud with anything else, but is putting it out there, but at that delivering it beautifully, this is a fragrance that you want to try. I can also tell you that the performance of this fragrance is stellar because it does border on beast on my skin. It does exceed well over the 8-hour mark without me overspraying. To be honest with you, I just spray this fragrance on my pulse points and call it a day, because you don't need any more than that. Any more than that would be a bit much. The other thing that I want to say, the feel of this fragrance is of absolute luxury. The bottle is weighty, the cap is magnetic and very, very weighty. Like the whole feel, the entire feel of the bottle, of just holding the bottle, is that of luxury. But then when you spray the fragrance, the scent is just going to definitely captivate you. Truly an incredible fragrance that I highly recommend, but I do think it is best that you try to get your nose on it before committing to a full bottle. The next fragrance that I have for you is from Lorenzo Pazzaglia, and this one is Chimba. So I have discussed this fragrance with you. I think it was during a Saturday morning chatty scent corner, and I gave you a first impression. So here's the thing about this fragrance. Now I've had the chance to use it a couple of times, and I am finding that what really is sticking out to me, what really is bringing like a bit of screechiness to my nose and how it's pulling on my skin is actually the note of guava. And you know how I love a good guava note in a fragrance. It's just that to me, it's a bit much of the guava in this fragrance. And I never thought that I would say that about the note of guava in any fragrance, but I'm really struggling with the level of sweetness and the level of guava that I'm picking up in this fragrance. And I know that something that takes that guava scent to the next level, that may be putting it, you know, like overboard for me, is the note of passion fruit, because together it is just too much. The level of fruitiness falls into the category of, you know, when I talked to you about Xerjoff's Erba Pura and I told you that I just really don't enjoy that fragrance as much as I should, because to me it's like a fruit bomb. Well, that is how I feel about Chimba at this point. It is just too much. You know, you have the passion fruit, the guava, and then you have the spiciness of the ginger, which does give it a bit of airiness, but at the same time, it is just too much going on. This time for me, Lorenzo, this is the first time that I tried a Lorenzo Pazzaglia fragrance that really doesn't work well for me. I am going to try it a couple more times, but right now it is barely alike. I mean, barely alike. But if you are looking for a sweet, extremely fruity fragrance that, although it does have a bit of a tropical vibe, you could probably pull it off for any season of the year, then Chimba is one that you want to try. But for me, this is not a safe blind buy. This is a fragrance that you definitely need to try and try on skin so that you can decide if you want to commit to a full bottle. The other thing about this fragrance is that it does have other notes such as patchouli and tobacco. The patchouli really doesn't play much of a role. It is present, but at the dry down, it's blended very nicely. But the tobacco is a bit of a dry tobacco. So when you bring that dry tobacco, which means that you're going to get that scent of tobacco clearly, and you combine it with those very potent fruity notes, I'm telling you, it is just a bit too much for me. Other than that, I can tell you that this is a fragrance that to me is best suited like for late in the day and into early evening, not late night. This is not a fragrance that I would wear to a gala, you know, or a formal event whatsoever, or a wedding or anything like that. This is a fragrance that to me is more of a casual occasion, but later in the day. The performance is stellar, like all Lorenzo Pazzaglia fragrances, because it does give me a full day wear to the tune of 8+ hours without having to overspray. And it is a fragrance that will get you attention. I have not received compliments with this fragrance, but I can tell you that I've been asked what I'm wearing. But it's like an iffy kind of statement. I don't know how to explain it. All in all, I think that this is a fragrance that is designed for someone who's really looking for a very, very fruity fragrance where the fruit notes are extremely bold. There is quite a bit of sweetness here without being necessarily cloying, that will get you through any season of the year. That is really what I think this fragrance was designed to do. For me, it may never come to be a true like, but I am going to try it a couple more times, specifically as it gets colder. Maybe I'll feel a different way about it. Let us know if you've tried Chimba and how do you feel about it. All right, so now we're going to have ourselves a very interesting conversation about the latest Libre flanker. Because let's talk about Libre Vanille Couture for a minute. So first of all, this bottle is absolutely beautiful. Truly, this bottle is beautiful. But let's talk about the juice itself. So I have to tell you that if it weren't because the bottle is so beautiful, I am not sure that I would keep this fragrance, because from the get-go, let me just tell you that I find it to be a bit redundant if you own the original Libre. This fragrance to me is giving me the original Libre all the way, just with a bit more vanilla and a tad bit booziness, right? So that is all that I'm getting. I am getting the original Libre with more vanilla. At that, you know, I just can't justify really telling you that you can pick up this one because it is so special, because it is special because of the bottle and its design, but the juice itself is not really giving me enough to be completely in love with the fragrance, because I already own the original and the intense and the new, and I own several flankers, as you know. I am a true Libre lover. Let me just be clear. I do love the Libre scent. I love so many of the flankers. I have compared flankers for you in the past, but this one is one that I don't even feel that I need to compare to others as I'm reviewing it for you, because I am telling you, for me, this is really the original Libre, just with the vanilla amped up a bit. That's it. At that, the fragrance is definitely sweet. The lavender and the vanilla are definitely dominant. There is a certain degree of spiciness. In addition to the lavender, you are going to pick up on the orange blossom throughout the olfactory journey, but not necessarily at the dry down. At the dry down, the orange blossom is faint and in the backdrop, but the scent is absolutely beautiful at the dry down. I mean, you can't deny that this is an incredibly beautiful scent. It's just that I was expecting more. I was expecting a twist where the vanilla, being that the name of the fragrance is Vanilla Couture, I thought that the vanilla was going to come in and do something so different that was just going to make me be completely enthralled with the fragrance. That is not what has happened. So for me, while this is a lovely fragrance, I think that if you own the original, this one may be redundant, unless you are a serious Libre collector and you just want to have this bottle because the bottle is truly beautiful. I mean, we cannot deny that the bottle is absolutely exquisite. Anyway, have you tried this Libre? The performance is consistent with the other flankers. It will give you a full day wear. It's not beast mode in any kind of way, and it will definitely get you compliments because the scent is just beautiful. Have you tried this flanker? And if you have, please let us know your thoughts in the comments section. All right, so the next fragrance that I want to discuss with you is one, when I tell you this fragrance has captured my heart immediately. This one is from Calaj, which is a new brand in my collection this year. And from Calaj, I want to talk to you about Delizia Esotica. And here is the very cute bottle. I actually shared this bottle with you during a Saturday morning chatty scent corner. I think I did a first impression and I told you that I would circle back with a review, which is what I'm doing today. So let me just start by saying that this fragrance is absolutely incredible, okay? So this fragrance balances so many notes, so many notes so beautifully. I don't even know how they did it, but this is a fragrance that takes, you know how I told you in Chimba that I was struggling with the level of guava and then passion fruit and then other notes? Well, here you have guava, passion fruit, oud, tobacco, like everything is in here, but it is sweet, but not as sweet as Chimba. And I really don't want to compare both fragrances because the scent is not the same, which is why I am loving this one, because I am getting my guava fix and my passion fruit love without feeling like I'm wearing a fruit bomb. This is a very well blended fragrance, very well balanced. It has a complete collection of notes. No, I do not pick up everything in the olfactory journey, nor at the dry down, but if I have to tell you what the keynotes of this fragrance are, I'm going to tell you that there's a floral presence where I clearly get orange blossom. I don't even remember if it's been disclosed or not, but I'm picking up on it. It's like orange blossom and or neroli, but it's white florals. It's a bouquet of white florals. I'm getting the guava, I'm getting the passion fruit, and I'm getting the oud. The tobacco is very smooth, very light. It's not a dry tobacco. It is just perfection. This is a deep love for me. This is such an incredible gourmand and very addictive. You do not need to overspray this one because it will choke you. Just spray it in your pulse points and call it a day, and get ready to enjoy the most yummy scent, because this is a true gourmand, the most yummy scent all day long. All day long. To me, this is a fragrance that is suited for just about any age. You can use it for any occasion. The one condition is that you have to be a serious gourmand lover in order to enjoy the fragrance because, well, it's not going to make you smell like a specific dish because I just can't even think of a dish that the scent reminds me of or a dessert. You are going to smell yummy. You are definitely going to smell like a yummy dessert of some kind, you know, non-specific, but some sort of yummy dessert. Again, this is an incredible fragrance that I highly recommend that you get your nose on if you are a serious gourmand lover, or if like me, you just love a good guava and passion fruit note. All right, so the next fragrance that I want to share with you is a deep love, but I am not surprised because it just seems that every fragrance that I try from Maison Crivelli is a deep love for me. I just have such an affinity for the DNA of that fragrance house. I love the intensity. I love the creative sense. Oh, and this fragrance will not disappoint if you are into Maison Crivelli fragrances. This one is Safran Secret. And here is the beautiful, beautiful, and very, very simple bottle as always. So here's the thing about Safran Secret. The condition here is that you have to be a saffron lover, but the real saffron. Like if you're in an open air market somewhere and you're shopping for spices and you approach like the booth or an area where they're really selling fresh spices and you immediately start to pick up on that fresh saffron scent, that is what this opens with. That is what you're going to get throughout the entire olfactory journey and at the dry down. Now, in addition to that, you are going to get hints of tobacco, and it goes so well with that saffron because this is a very, very warm, spicy fragrance. That's what the fragrance is about. It's not about anything else. It's about the saffron, and at that, the one accord that is extremely dominant, bold, and in your face is that warm, spicy quality of the fragrance. Nothing else really to say. There is also a certain degree of earthiness, which is to be expected if I am telling you that the saffron is quite realistic and quite natural. I mean, just very, very pure saffron is what you're getting here. This is not going to be for everybody because I know that not everybody enjoys smelling like a spice. I know for a fact of fam members that really do not want to smell like saffron because it evokes certain memories. For me, it just brings a warmth, and to me, this is perfection for the fall and winter. This is not even an opening of spring scent. This is a powerhouse. This is full-on beast mode, exceeding the 10-hour mark for sure. This to me is also a fragrance that I would say is not suitable for every age because I don't think that someone in their early 20s wants to smell like saffron spice, but you know, I would say probably 25 plus or 30 plus. Other than that, I also don't think that this is office appropriate because again, it is quite intense and it's all about the spices. I think that this is perfect now for the fall season. If you're having like a family gathering or a gathering with your friends, you know, that's the type of occasion. I also want to let you know that this is a unisex fragrance, and if I'm honest, it does lean a tad to the masculine side in my opinion, but you know that I love a good unisex fragrance, and that does not bother me at all. This to me is absolute perfection. Let us know if you've tried Safran Secret or if you own it, and how do you feel about it? What do you love about it, or what is it that you don't appreciate from it? But for me, this is a definitely deep love fragrance for sure. All right, so the next fragrance that I want to share with you is so special. This is from Bisous, and this is tobacco flirting with vanilla. And when I tell you that that's exactly what happens in this fragrance, it is a whole flirt between the vanilla and the tobacco. The interesting part is that when I first heard about this fragrance, I thought, oh, it has the note of cherry and it is a top note, so it's going to open with that juicy cherry. Well, in the opening, I do get a faint cherry. But what I really get in the opening immediately is a heavy dose of vanilla. And in addition to that, the opening is a bit airy. It's not fresh. This is not a freshie whatsoever. There is a certain degree of denseness to the scent itself, which makes it perfect for the fall and winter season. This is not a fragrance that I would pull during a warm spring day or during the summer whatsoever. But as soon as you experience a certain degree of cool weather, this is a fragrance that you may want to pull and use all the time because it is a complete flirting between the tobacco and the vanilla. At that, the tobacco is a moist tobacco, so it is a tobacco that you're going to pick up on, but not to the tune of it being like a dry tobacco that's quite overpowering, because the tobacco and the vanilla here play beautifully. Now, if you're wondering, okay, Arahi, am I going to pick up on the cherry? Isn't this supposed to be a cherry fragrance? No, this is not a cherry fragrance. Believe me, this is a vanilla and tobacco fragrance. I can't stress that enough. The cherry is present in the opening, and the cherry will also be present at the dry down. But the cherry is not a note that is critical or key in the composition, at least not to my nose and not on paper, and certainly not on my skin. This is a fragrance that I think you can wear for just about any occasion, day or night. You could take it to the office. You can make it your signature scent. But again, the condition is to use it during cool weather, because this is not a warm weather fragrance to me at all whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I think that during the summer, it may be a bit much because, again, it is a dense fragrance. It is a dense scent. The performance of the fragrance is also quite good because it does give me a full day wear, and it does have a moderate projection but a strong sillage that will get you compliments. This is a fragrance that I think is suitable really for just about any age and very, very versatile. I think that if you try this fragrance, you just have to be a lover of tobacco and vanilla, because that's really what it's all about, and you are going to pick up on both quite clearly. The next fragrance that I have for you now is a fragrance from a fragrance house that I just discovered this year, and that from the moment I tried the first fragrance, I have just continued to try others because I am absolutely in love with the approach to the notes and just the entire DNA of the fragrance house. And I am speaking about Affinessence as the fragrance house, and this one is Cuir-Curcuma. And here is the beautiful, beautiful, sleek, stylish, very minimalist kind of bottle that I find to be so, so elegant. So this fragrance is all about the note of leather. But at that, the leather here has been done so, so nicely and smooth. It is like the scent of suede, like brand new suede, like a suede jacket that is brand new. This is the scent that you would get. And that scent speaks to a vibe of like wealth and sophistication. I just can't explain it. Like, it is just an exquisitely beautiful scent. But the thing is that you have to be into that note of leather because it is definitely dominant. That is what the fragrance is about. I mean, the name says it, and they meant it, because while there's other notes involved here, the center note, the true star of the fragrance, is the note of leather. But at that, the leather is very, very manageable. This is also a fragrance that, although it centers around the note of leather, I can tell you this is very much unisex. This is not a fragrance that, in my opinion, leans to the masculine or to the feminine side. This is very, very much unisex. But remember, at that, all about that leather note. There's also a touch of spiciness here, and the one spice that I pick up on clearly is the note of myrrh, and it is also very present. But I don't know, that myrrh adds like a bit of character and oomph to the scent itself, which it didn't need because I'm talking about leather and suede, right? So that is a note that creates an accord that doesn't need any assistance in the department of adding oomph or personality or character. But I have to tell you, the scent itself is just exquisite. And curiously enough, in courtesy, I think, of the note of orris, if I remember correctly, the dry down is powdery. Not very, very powdery, but definitely powdery. To me, this is a fragrance that is suitable for the ages of 25 plus, and you can use it for any occasion, day or night, as long as you are okay with that scent of leather, because that is primarily what you're going to get. That is what this is truly about. As far as performance, it will give you a full day wear exceeding the 8-hour mark. It does have a moderate projection, but a very strong sillage that will leave a trail behind you for sure and will get you quite a bit of attention. I tell you, this is really an incredible fragrance. I have not tried any of the fragrances from Affinessence in this line that I have not fallen in love with, and this one is no exception. A very welcome addition to a leather-centric fragrance in my collection. Okay, so the last fragrance that I'm going to share with you today, I don't even know where to start on this fragrance. If you've been with me for a while, you know that I absolutely love the house of Tomavicci. And of course, now you know what fragrance I'm referring to. But when I tell you that this was an immediate love, I actually hauled it with you during, and I don't know if you remember, during a Saturday morning chatty scent corner, I did a first impression where I actually opened the fragrance with you because it was sealed and everything, and I opened it and I shared with you my initial reaction, and nothing has changed. On the contrary, I am quite obsessed, and I am speaking about Siren's Veil. And let's take a moment to look at this incredibly beautiful bottle. Now, the bottle is beautiful, but when I tell you that the juice is just surreal. This one has definitely jumped to the very top of my Tomavicci fragrances. It is not yet number one because there's another one, and I'm not going to tell you what it is because I am planning to do a Tomavicci Fragrance House Spotlight soon, where I will share all of the fragrances that I have, which are just about all the fragrances that they have, and I will rank them for you while I also review them all for you. But when I tell you that this is just unbelievable. And in addition to that, it is a fragrance that is so... This fragrance is so addictive. I can't even. This is definitely a boozy fragrance. Not very, very boozy, but definitely boozy with a very present note of plum and raspberry. It is not lactonic, but there's a creaminess to it, and it borders on being, to my nose and on my skin, a tad lactonic. And I think if I recall correctly, it's because of the note of whipped cream. But I am telling you, there's a creaminess here that you cannot avoid. But that plum and that raspberry with that booziness, it's almost like you're getting a plum and raspberry liqueur here. But it is absolutely incredible. In addition to that, there's the note of tobacco. The tobacco, curiously enough, also comes with like a tad of smokiness, which adds to that sexy vibe. This is just amazing. This to me is truly a fragrance that is only for the fall and winter season and the opening of the spring. This is not a warm weather fragrance whatsoever. So it was launched right on time because this is not for warm weather. I really know that if you try to wear this on a hot summer day, it will be definitely a bit much and it may choke you and all of those around you. While the fragrance does have musk, the musk here is to the tune of a 2 to 3, more of a 2 than a 3, because the musk is not the key player here. The fragrance is very ambery, and it is really all about that plum and that raspberry liqueur kind of note, surrounded by all the other notes and accords. But this fragrance, I tell you, the performance is stellar because it borders on beast, which is typically what I get from Tomavicci fragrances. They either really perform really, really well, giving me more, more than the 8-hour mark, or they border on beast, or they're just full on beast mode. Well, this one borders on beast, which almost gives me 10 hours without having to overspray. And it does become a scent bubble after a strong projection of about 2 hours plus. And then after that, it does become a skin scent, which is not intimate because it will give you whiffs of the fragrance all throughout the day. all in all, I just cannot speak highly enough of this incredible fragrance. But again, it's become a tradition for me. Every time they launch a fragrance, I just know that I'm just going to get another happy moment and another fragrance to really be completely obsessed with, because this is really, really incredible. I also have to tell you that for a while there, within that fruitiness, especially at the opening, I really could swear that there's like a cherry note, but that has not been disclosed and I'm not going to touch that. But I seem to get a little bit of a cherry note, but I could be totally wrong. Do you get a little bit of a cherry note coming from the fragrance? Because I do. But anyway, let us know if you are one of the fam members, because I know many of you picked it up. I will leave a link, of course, and the discount code that you can use to pick up this incredible fragrance. I hope that you were able to take advantage of the pre-order price, because it brought it to like just right above, I think it was like $206, which for this level of fragrance, that is an incredible price point. I hope they never change it. And I hope that that deal is still available for you. I will leave a link and a discount code in the description box, but this is one that you do not want to miss. Let us know if you've tried Siren's Veil, if you own it, if you're loving it, or did it not work for you? And if it didn't, why didn't it work? Anyway, moving on. All right, fam. So we've reached the end of today's video, and I just wanted to come on here, as I said in the opening, and share these 12 fragrances because you had requested a review of so many of them, and others I just felt that I really needed to come and share them because they were either really special or I wanted to let you know that I was feeling kind of iffy about some of them. But anyway, I hope that this was enjoyable for you. It was certainly enjoyable for me. As always, thank you so much for hanging with me today, and I will see you all in the next video.